love how you wind up. I 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 love how you grind up. I love how you wind up. I love how you wind up. I love how you wind up. I didn't expect it like this. I catching feelings. I catching feelings. I didn't expect it like this. I catching feelings. I catching feelings.
Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to the night shift.
When you touch me so,
It's a Real Talk Wednesday. I want to say happy hump day night to you.
put me in a mood, darling.
Welcome to Marlon's favorite night shift show.
How's it feeling good? Whoever about the thing, na na na. You know what you're doing down
I want to say greetings to all those who have it locked on kevinstew.com on TuneIn Radio
down there.
and affiliate stations.
You wine capture me like a crook. Look at you.
Those tuned in on PEMGTV.com. Big ups to you. Of course, those right here at the home of the night shift to DJ Kevin Stew, kevinstew.com.
Catching feelings.
Glad to have you. I couldn't do it without you.
Like this, I catching feelings. I catching feelings. Pull me in a little more. All I do,
You definitely have my word. I wouldn't try to.
all I do. This feeling like sugar. We learn to wine, darling. And if you want enough, right here you could die. Like whoever about the thing, na na na. You know what you
Kicking it off with a little Nadia Batson.
how you wind up. I love how you wind up. I love how you wind up.
A track called Catching Feelings. Giving you an opportunity to call a friend, tell a friend.
I love how you wind up.
Drag one if you have to.
I love how you wind up. I didn't expect it like this. I catch
Numbers to get you in touch for the show tonight.
catching feelings.
I'll give you in a minute.
I didn't expect it like this. I catching feelings.
Well, if you are on the website, then you'll see the telephone number.
All I do. When you touch me so, all I do. You set me on fire. Put me in a mood, darling. I'll sing like a choir. How's it feeling good? Whoever about the thing, na na na. You know what you're doing down there. I love how you touch up the thing, na na na. You know what you're doing down there. And I never thought I'd get hooked. You wine capture me like a crook. Look at you, how you have me catching feelings. I didn't expect it like this. I catching feelings. I catching feelings. I didn't expect it like this. I catching feelings. I catching feelings. Pull me in a little more. All I do. You know I like it so. All I do. This feeling like sugar. We learn to wine, darling. And if you want enough, right here you could die. Like whoever about the thing, na na na. You know what you're doing down there. I love how you touch up the thing, na na na. You know what you're doing down there. And I never thought I'd get hooked. You wine capture me like a crook. Look at you, how you have me catching feelings.
I want to say thanks to Paul C Media Group for sponsoring the segment of the show.
Catching feelings.
When being in the moment is priceless, give them a call.
Like this. I catching
754-999-6020.
feelings.
Or you can visit them online at paulcmg.com.
I love how you wind up. I love how you wind up. I love how you grind up. I love how you wind up. I love how you wind up. I love how you wind up. I didn't expect it like this. I catching feelings. I catching feelings. I didn't expect it like this. I catching feelings. I catching feelings.
You're catching some feelings. What kind of feelings you catching, and where you catching it from? You know, maybe I need to do a show on that one too. This whole idea of catching feelings. Whoever coined that phrase, where you catch it from? Is it a virus? How do you catch feelings? Is it that you have them or you don't? You just they just fall on you from somewhere. It is in line somewhere with the whole concept of falling in love. And does it hurt when you land? Does it hurt? How far are you falling from? Okay, so I'm being a little facetious, maybe, or maybe those are some questions that we need to ask for real though. Who was it that came up with these things? You know, when you're getting to that point where you can say you express love, is it that you're falling, or is it that the feeling is growing? Because if you're a loving person, then that is something that you should always have with you. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about tonight. Well, maybe sorta kinda. It is. Numbers to call, numbers to text. 773-789-STEW. 773-789-7839. And you can also Skype for those who are overseas. Kevin.stew. You can Skype in. You can call via Skype. You can message via Skype. But if you want to just stick to text, please go and jump into the stew pot. It's that interactive portal on kevinstew.com. Others call it a chat room. We're fancy over here, so we call it the stew pot. Come on in. The water is always fine. It's where we keep things bubbling. Tonight, we're talking about monogamy. Is it natural? Is it a social construct? You know, where did this monogamy thing come from? Some of you who are regular listeners to the night shift and watchers, you would have heard me talk about polyamory before. But we never really spoke about monogamy that I can remember. But then again, my memory is short, so I have no problems revisiting it, which is what we're doing tonight if we did it before. Sometimes I depend on you guys to remind me of some of the things that I cover, because I cover a lot of things. Anyway, so is monogamy normal? How was it that something like polyamory became an exotic exception? Do you know? The genetically encoded psychological machinery of human mating behavior was built by and for a world in which striving for polygyny was often reproductively advantageous. And that's why people living in modern societies often seem inclined towards polygyny, even in cultures that have attempted to abolish it. Huh. That's something interesting. So, then, why have so many cultures attempted to abolish something like polygyny? If our ancestors' environments were so polygynous, then why is socially imposed monogamy the moral and legal prohibition of polygyny? So, why is it so common in modern societies? Or more accurately, Why is it so common in Western societies? Because polygyny remains legal and common in many non Western societies, especially sub Saharan, African, and Islamic countries. So, what is it about the West? Monogamy's spread in the West had something to do with the influence of Christianity, but not so much as you might expect. Have I gotten your attention yet? Now, mainstream Christianity has always endorsed and enforced monogamy. And as Christianity spread across Europe in the centuries following the fall of Rome, monogamy spread along with it. However, Christianity's condemnation of polygyny has never been as straightforward as anti polygyny church leaders would have preferred. Because no biblical passages explicitly prohibit plural marriage. I was a part of a discussion on another broadcast, and one of the panelists on that discussion was a minister of religion. And she was talking about it somehow got to the whole idea of promiscuity. And so she was going on and talking about it. And I started chiming in, as I sometimes do, just asking questions, being devil's advocate, as I'm sometimes labeled. And I asked the question, where in the Bible does it say that one man should have one woman or one woman should have one man? And up until now, I haven't been given a response. So I'm still waiting. Needless to say, I don't even remember who the guest was. Yeah, it was that long ago. But I'm still waiting. And if anybody would like to take a stab at it, please. I'm willing to learn. Where in the Bible does it say that one man should have one woman and one woman should have one man? But going back to the information that I've gathered for you, leaders of breakaway Christian polygynous sects like 16th century German Anabaptists and 19th century American Mormons have always been eager to point out that several central Old Testament figures are actually polygynists. And I'm sure those many have cited these figures, these Old Testament figures. The Abraham with his two wives at the same time, and Solomon with his 700 wives and his 300 concubines. Now, if there are only 365 days in a year, as we know it, how Solomon work it out? You talking about? I do apologize. My mic just decided to go fritz. Yeah. So we're talking about let's do the math a little bit. 1,000 women, 300. Let's use a round figure. 350 days. So even if he did two a day, that would only take care of the wives, right? Because the calendar as we know it now is how the Romans had structured it, and that's a whole other story. But if we just using round figures, 350, you're talking about just the wives being taken care of in a year. You still need another year to take care of the concubines. So it's two wives a day in the first year and one concubine a day in the second year. I'd love to ask Solomon how he worked it out. Or it was a certain part of the day kind of a thing per wife supplemented by concubine. I don't know. Now, with Abraham and his two wives, that is a little bit easier to deal with, right? It's a you can see where it's a little bit easier to handle. But then some would ask the question, how is it that it's just the men that are allowed to have multiple partners and only the men that are spoken about? Well, listen, I reason it out like this. The Bible was written in a time and by a group of people that the men were the dominant set. So whatever was happening, it would happen as according to the males in the society. Scripture is written in the masculine gender. Scripture as we know it, the Bible, is written in the masculine gender. Everything that we know about the Bible is pretty much masculine. Yet we walk around talking about Mother Earth and Mother Nature. But we mentioned Father God. But again, that is probably for another discussion. So by the time Christianity began spreading through the Roman Empire in the first centuries AD, monogamy was already well established. But even though Christianity did not introduce socially imposed monogamy to the West, it did fully embrace this institution. And like we said before, it was this embracement that ultimately led to monogamy's spread throughout the Western world. But that's how monogamy was spread. Why it was spread is another question. And there is not a universal argument or agreement about what the correct answer is. But the plausible answer is that it spread because historically, monogamous groups were advantaged militarily over polygynous groups. As in the case of Alexander 1987, the ancient Greco-Roman and medieval European leaders who embraced anti-polygyny laws were heavily invested in the business of war. And their own social status and indeed survival often depended on their ability to maintain large, well-funded armies. And the imposition of monogamy produced bigger, better armies because monogamous groups can grow larger than polygynous ones. So, After socially imposed monogamy was established, Westerners became so accustomed to it that many began to see it as the normal state of human mating, and to see the formerly universal practice of polygyny as foreign and strange. As Laura Betzig writes, modern societies, those that have grown out of Christian Middle Ages, are remarkably monogamous. They seem, in fact, so consistently monogamous that what was once the rule now looks like an exotic exception. So, based on that, apparently, the whole concept of monogamy is or was created over time. Now, here comes the issue with, or possibly the issue with religion as we know it. If it is true that monogamy is a social construct and we kind of grew to accepting it and pushing polygyny aside, then the fact that we are fearfully and wonderfully made in the image and likeness of the Creator, that would mean that the Creator is all for non-monogamy. One of the things I want to point out as I make that statement, one, that is my view. So that's one of the things. The other thing is, how far-fetched would that really be? That we were created to not be monogamous. And understand this. When I talk about not being monogamous, I'm not talking about just running around and having sex with anybody that comes along that tickles your fancy. That's not what I'm talking about when I refer to being non-monogamous. I'm talking about the actual relationships that happen between multiple individuals. That's what I'm talking about. Not just the sex that may happen. Because there's non-monogamous relationships that sex doesn't even play a role. Yes, there are non-monogamous relationships that include sex. And that is not far-fetched, nor is it thought of to not be a possibility. But it doesn't have to be. Because relationships, sex is a product of the relationship versus the relationship being a product of sex. So the sex as we know it is pretty much sensationalized. And the relationship is not so much. That typically gets downplayed. So as we go through tonight and we talk about monogamy and non-monogamy, don't confuse it with sex and multiple sex partners. Okay? Just to make sure that you grasp that understanding, that we're all on the same page as we talk about that. Now, we're going to take a little break. And when we come back, we're going to ask or try to find the answer to the question if humans are actually meant to be monogamous. What do you think? 773-789-STEW gets you in touch. 773-789-7839. You can call, you can text, you can jump into the stew pot on kevinstew.com. And I welcome you. I invite you to do it. I invite you to invite some friends. Drag them if you want to. They're your friends. How you relate to them, that's your business. But let's talk about it. We'll be right back after these few messages, and we'll get back to some discussion and passing on some information. We'll be right back.
Pulsey Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulsey Media Group.
Today in school, I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school,
In math,
I learned that I'm ugly
I
and
learned
useless.
that I'm trash.
And in gym,
In biology,
I learned that I'm
I
pathetic
learned that I'm fat
and a
and
joke.
stupid.
In history,
Today in
I learned that
school,
I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick.
And in
And
gym,
at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell.
and a joke.
In chemistry, I learned that no one
In
likes me.
biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid.
In English,
And in
I
math,
learned that I make people
I
sick.
learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today,
The only thing I didn't learn today
The only thing I didn't learn,
Is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
It takes an entire village to raise a child. Hello, I'm Paul Campbell, here to talk about Palace. Peace and Love Academic Scholarship. This nonprofit group supports students facing serious obstacles from entering or continuing their studies, not because the grades are failing, but due to the lack of financial support.
Over the past 8 years, Palace has awarded 600 scholarships valued at approximately 50.3 million Jamaican dollars, or 415,000 US dollars.
Together, we must build a better future for our children. Please visit www.palace1.org and make your donation to brighten the future of a deserving child. Palace, preserving young minds for posterity.
Hi, this is Cara Manti, and you're listening to DJ Kevin Stew, and this is The Night Shift.
Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind, and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, that Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links, www.dahchurchlinx.com, your links to worship and praise.
It's Christine representing for DJ Kevin. You see me, I say, I don't know the boss. You see me, I say, DJ Kevin Stew and the night shift radio show. Yo, it at the thing, turn up the thing loud. Whoa, DJ Kevin Stew at the heart of a champion. Never underestimate, just choose him. The silver line behind the dark clouds. DJ Kevin Stew believe him, and that's no doubt. Salute the night shift radio show, Christine. It's a heart it up loud. The beast.
Send roses by bottles of champagne. Your favorite, I'm great at keeping a promise. Wrote letters, 10 pages to tell ya I'm in it, I wanna stay. And I'll show you in every way. You're skeptical still, well, I'm loving all you. And I'm super confused how my actions don't convince you. You're skeptical still, so I'll remind you. If I loved you, you know you couldn't mistake it if you tried. If I loved you, you know you'd see it even if you're blind. It's bigger than the world. Take out, stop binging on old films. Get dressed up, we go out. It's hard to make a choice. We're both indecisive. All I know, I'm in it, I wanna stay. And I'll show you in every way. You're skeptical still, well, I'm loving all you. And I'm super confused how my actions don't convince you. You're skeptical still, so I'll remind you. You're not. If I loved you, you know you couldn't mistake it if you tried. If I loved you, you know you'd see it even if you're blind. It's bigger than the world, deeper than the ocean, harder than the sun. Know it when you're lost.
I want to welcome you back to the show. This is the sound of Royce. Track called If I Loved You.
I never told you I love you, I do. I never told
I want to say thanks to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands for sponsoring this segment of the show.
I love you, I do.
Althea is a licensed massage therapist that operates out of Broad County, North Miami-Dade, and South Palm Beach counties. Let's give her a call, 954-655-9000. She comes to you, brings her table, oils and all. All you have to do is make yourself ready. You can also email her at fearlater@att.net. Thank you, Althea. I can tell you, I love her massages. You'll know, you just can't get away from it. It's something that you just experience. You know, you can't. It is so hard to describe. But when you're in it, you know it. News of politicians and celebrities' extramarital affairs never seem to be in short supply. You ever notice that? Someone is always finding the proverbial dirt and digging it up. But if humans were cut from exactly the same cloth as other mammals, a faithful spouse would actually be an unusual phenomenon. Things that make you go, Only 3 to 5% of the roughly 5,000 species of mammals, including humans, are known to form lifelong monogamous bonds, with the loyal superstars including beavers, wolves, and some bats. Social monogamy is a term referring to creatures that pair up to mate and raise offspring, but still have flings. Sexually monogamous pairs mate with only one partner. So, a cheating husband who detours for a romantic romp yet returns home in time to tuck the kids in at night would be considered socially monogamous. Now, beyond that, scientists' definitions for monogamy tend to vary. Evolutionary psychologists have suggested that men are more likely to have extramarital sex, partially due to the male urge to spread genes, quote unquote, by broadcasting sperm. Both males and females, these scientists say, try to up their evolutionary progress by seeking out high quality mates, albeit in different ways. The committed partnership between a man and a woman evolved, some say, for the well-being of children. The human species have evolved to make commitments between males and females in regards to raising their offspring. So this is a bond. And this is what Jane Lancaster, an evolutionary anthropologist at the University of New Mexico, had to say. She says, that bond, however, can fit into all kinds of marriage patterns: polygyny, single parenthood, monogamy. The human species is somewhat unique amongst mammals in that fathers do invest in raising children. We do know that in humans, we do have this pretty strong pair bond. And there is more paternal investment than in most other primates. This said Daniel Kruger, a social and evolutionary psychologist at the University of Michigan School of Public Health. And he goes on to say, we're special in this regard, but at the same time, like most mammals, we are a polygynous species. Kruger said humans are considered mildly polygynous, in which a male mates with more than one female. Whether or not the married or otherwise committed individuals stray for sex depends on the cost and benefits. There is plenty of evidence that males have less to lose than females by having extramarital sex, Lancaster said. And having less to lose, it is easier for them to do it. Women, however, could lose the dad's resources when it comes to raising their kids. For women, the well-being of their children is not improved by promiscuity. Now, let me pause for a moment. The imagery here, or the main theme here, is not the fact that the idea, the concept of monogamy or polygamy is related to the relationship. You may see that the main focus here is sex and sexual activity. That isn't the basis of a monogamous or non-monogamous relationship. That is just what most people relate to when it comes to monogamous and non-monogamous relationships, the sex part. So, okay, I just wanted to remind everybody of that and get that out there. Some scientists view both social and sexual monogamy in humans as a societal structure rather than a natural state. Pepper Schwartz, a professor of sociology at the University of Washington in Seattle, says, "I don't think we are a monogamous animal. A really monogamous animal is a goose, which never mates again after its mate is killed." Goosey, goosey gander. She added, monogamy is invented for order and investment, but not necessarily because it's natural. This now makes people think, okay, if it isn't natural, then why do I naturally do it? Well, let me go on to ask another question. Do you naturally do it? Is monogamy a thing that you actually naturally do, or you do it because you're conditioned to do it? Here's an example of something you could do naturally. Write. Not the fact that you just get up and know how to write, but the hand which you choose to write with isn't much of a choice, actually. It just happens to be your dominant hand. So, were you taught to have that as a dominant feature? No, that's just how you're wired. Now, there are some people that, although their dominant hand is maybe their right hand, they're either taught themselves or they were taught to use their left hand, or vice versa. Just using it for example's sake. So, why then would it be such a stretch to think that those who are monogamous are conditioned to be that way? Why is it such a stretch? Because if there's one thing that is common across the societies, the communities, is that people tend to have relationships with more than one individual simultaneously. Whether it involves sex or not. And people care deeply for these individuals with whom they are having these relationships. So, is that a monogamous relationship or a non-monogamous relationship? Remember now, we're talking about monogamy versus promiscuity, or non-monogamy versus promiscuity. In that, if someone wants to go out and have sex with someone just randomly, then there's not much emotion that is involved in that. How I view monogamous and polyamorous relationship tend to be as it relates to the emotional connection between the individuals in the relationship. if anybody else wants to view it a different way, that's fine. Share with me how you want to see it. But in my understanding of monogamy and non-monogamy, I lean towards the whole relationship versus the aspect of the relationship that is sex. So, you have your promiscuous individual. And I said individual, not man, not woman, individual, because it could be either or. They would go and have sex for kicks. And let's face it, many of us at some point in our life or another pretty much feel that way. You know, just we don't want to be in a relationship with anybody. We just want to be able to get that itch scratched. So we have our little black book and we go through it and we call up whomever. Everybody has had a little black book of some sort, even if it's not black. But you get the idea. So if so many people do it, what is so unnatural about it? And why is it so frowned upon if it comes so naturally? And this is the understanding that I am desperately trying to get to. Because when I was a child, I would get stories. And the stories, the fairy tales, typically, especially the ones that are romance driven, the Beauty and the Beast, the Rapunzel, the Snow White, the Sleeping Beauty, the Cinderella, they all pretty much have the same structure. First of all, they happen in a land far, far away. Where exactly is this land far, far away? Nobody ever really knows because it's far, far away. So in this land far, far away, there is an individual. There are two individuals who have not yet met and are seeking their one true love. You really mean to tell me that between the time they got of age and the time when they met, they had never been interested in anybody else? They have never had any type of closeness with anybody outside of their family and that one true love? I personally find that hard to believe. Now, I could be sailing in a boat all by myself, or there may be some others who say, yeah, you know what, Stu? That is how I always felt about it too. Now, if you're not in that boat with me, and you're now going, wait a minute, I didn't really think about that. That's true. All the stories pretty much go that way. And here comes the Prince Charming. You ever notice that it's always a Prince Charming that's coming along? And never the Princess Delight. Or the delightful princess that shows up rescuing the Prince Charming, because yeah, we're hunter-gatherer, we're protector, so we should be the ones doing the seeking and finding, right? Well, if we're busy hunting and gathering and protecting, where do we find time to be seeking that one true love? Maybe it's that one true love that is supposed to be seeking us. And if that is the case, then there would be competition for that one true love. Now, if there's competition for that one true love, then now you have the hunter-gatherer protector not only fighting, because, you know, they did fight to protect their land and whatever they had as treasures, including their women. So there'd have to be fighting outside the community and then come back into, well, outside of their base community, their core community, and then come back into their core community and have to deal with war and fighting again because of challenges for a spouse, a partner, a mate. How about the idea that people actually got along and just probably had the basic understanding that I have this person and this person, and this person and this person, and have me and that person. You know, what? Are there any stories that actually go like that? Or are those the stories that we end up exploring caves and digging up places and finding images on walls and scripts buried in tombs that tell stories about this? Now you start thinking, hey, did we get the full story? Or maybe, just maybe, this whole concept of a polygynous society is not as able to produce a strong army as a monogamous society. So it became a means to have strong armies. Because, you know, we are possessive like that. Everybody wants to own something. My house, my car, my computer, my riches, my partner. I own you. However, that's not really how we want to live now, is it? Even if we do, even if we walk around and talk about my partner this, my partner that, is that really how you want to live, where you claim to own someone? Because if that is the case, and we're going to go off on a little bit of a tangent here, if that is the case, then nobody should be up in arms about slavery. Because basically, slave masters owned their slaves. So much so that they had a title to prove it. A piece of paper that said, here you have slave owner Tom Strokes that owns Jim, Bean, Jay, Ray, and nephew. There is a piece of paper that says that. But wait, there's a piece of paper in marriage too. Is it a similar type of document? Is that where the whole my wife, my husband comes from? And to say, yes, this is mine because I signed a piece of paper that said so? Things that make you go, 773-789-STEW. I want to hear from you. 773-789-7839. Call, text, Skype on kevin.stew. Jump into the stew pot, kevinstew.com. Let me get your views. If you're deeply religious and your religious belief says that that is how we're supposed to be, okay. Present your case. For those who say, monogamy comes about as a result of trying to be healthy because they're STDs. Well, you're confusing non-monogamy with promiscuity. Because if you're in a non-monogamous relationship, then the whole idea behind that is nothing is hidden. So you know who your partners are, or you know who your partner's partners are. And it sounds weird, doesn't it? But I really think that is how it initially went. Now, for those who say, yes, having multiple partners is a recipe for sexually transmitted diseases to be just stirred up and served out. You can have sexually transmitted diseases with being monogamous also. Because there are some sexual practices that could give you an infection. Let's just face it. It's the truth. So you can't wholly and solely say because of multiple partners or being non-monogamous, it's a recipe for STDs. Sometimes your recipe for an STD is a visit to the clinic. I'm just saying. Not pointing any fingers, not calling out any situation. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we talk some more. It's the Night Shift to DJ Kevin Stew, Marlon's favorite night shift show, Real Talk Wednesday. And we're looking at monogamy. Is it natural? Is it a social construct? What is your view? What is your position? What say you? Let me know. Again, judgment-free zone. We just want to have acceptance through enlightenment. Emphasis is on enlightenment. We need to get to an understanding. An understanding is not being right and being wrong. It's having an understanding. We'll be right back.
Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe he's just not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy.
Or maybe he's teething.
Maybe it's just a phase.
Maybe he has autism, and we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism. No big, joyful smiles by 6 months is one early sign. Learn the others at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.
I'm in almost every school bus and classroom. You see me around the neighborhood and you tell me that I'm a pretty good kid. Well, I'm one out of every 5 children in America, and I'm struggling with hunger.
Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help.
Every dollar you donate helps provide 8 meals for kids like me. We are Feeding America, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey, I'm representing for DJ Kevin Stew, working on the night shift. The night shift radio show won't go changing like the weather just to please the devil never. Well, DJ Kevin's true Sally Soul, that's a word and honor. It's Christine representing word and honor. Celestia DJ Kevin's true.
One thing, I know I can't have it all, no. But there's just one thing that I wish for. I wish your love was as good as you look. I wish your muscle was as big as you talk. I wish your kisses were as long as you were free. For some reason you done too fast. That's my man. I know I won't leave my man. Strong in the arm but weak in your back parts. Your six-pack hard but your cut soft. Lucky thing me have my body wrapped stashed up. Me still a steam up the fish when the crackers feel. Your favorite position me have a lock of feel. And even though the thing not so proper, as long as it's with you it no matter. I wish your love was as good as you look. I wish your muscle was as big as you talk. I wish your kisses were as long as you were free. For some reason you done too fast. It's my man. I know I won't leave my man. Oh no. And I hope that he will understand. See, I ain't gonna leave you, baby. I'm not gonna be like the girls who leaves a good thing for worse. We're gonna make this thing work. Cause my baby, he put me first. See, I'm not leaving. Oh no, I believe in love. Even though me up and need it like me needing love. That's my man. I know I
Welcome back to the show. Our last segment before our musical therapy. This is the sound of IKEA. A track called My Man. I want to thank Reggae Global Entertainment for sponsoring this segment of the show. Reggae Global Entertainment takes care of your tour management, your entertainment, your visual EPKs, legal contracts, copyrights, publishing, trademarks. Give them a call, 954-998-8034. Let them know you heard about them on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. Thank you, Reggae Global Entertainment. Thank you, IKEA. So, we're still talking about monogamy. And Dita Lucas of the University of Cambridge, in a telephone news conference, said, monogamy is a problem. As Dr. Lucas explained to reporters, he and other biologists consider monogamy an evolutionary puzzle. In 9% of all mammal species, males and females will share a common territory for more than one breeding season, and in some cases, bond for life. This is a problem. It's a scientific problem. Because male mammals could theoretically have more offspring by giving up on monogamy and mating with lots of females. In a study, Dr. Lucas and his colleague Tim Clotton-Brock suggest that monogamy evolves when females spread out, making it hard for a male to travel around and fend off competing males. On the same day, Kit Opie of University College London and his colleagues published a similar study on primates, which are especially monogamous. Males and females bond in over a quarter of primate species. The London scientists came to a different conclusion, that the threat of infanticide leads males to stick with only one female, protecting her from other males. Even with the scientific problem far from resolved, research like this inevitably turns us into narcissists. It's all well and good to understand why the gray-handed night monkey became monogamous. But we want to know, what does this say about men and women? As with all things concerning the human heart, it's complicated. The human mating system is extremely flexible. Bernard Chappé of the University of Montreal wrote in a review in Evolutionary Anthropology, and he said only 17% of human cultures are strictly monogamous. The vast majority of human societies embrace a mix of marriage types, with some people practicing monogamy and others polygamy. Most people in these cultures are in non-monogamous marriages, though. There are even some societies where a woman may marry several men. And some men and women have secret relationships that last for years while they're married to other people, a kind of dual monogamy. Same-sex marriages acknowledge communities that in many cases existed long before they won legal recognition. Each species faces its own special challenges. The climate where it lives, or the food it depends on, or the predators that stalk it. And certain conditions may favor monogamy despite its drawbacks. One source of clues to the origin of human mating lies in our closest relatives, chimpanzees and bonobos. They live in large groups where the females mate with lots of males when they're ovulating. Male chimpanzees will fight with others for a chance to mate, and they've evolved to produce extra sperm to increase their chances that they get to father a female's young. Our own ancestors split off from the ancestors of chimpanzees about 7 million years ago. Now, of course, that leads to the argument of creation versus evolution, an argument that has been going on from time immemorial. Fossils may offer some clues to how our mating systems evolved after that parting of ways. The hormone levels that course through monogamous primates are different from those of other species, possibly because the males are not in constant battle for females. That difference in hormones influences how primates grow in some remarkable ways. For example, the ratio of their finger length is different. Who knew that something like a finger length would make a difference? In 2011, Emma Nelson of the University of Liverpool and her colleagues looked at the finger bones of ancient humanid fossils. From what they found, they concluded that humanids 4.4 million years ago mated with many females. Now, you can tell this by looking at fingers. About 3.5 million years ago, however, the finger length ratio indicated that humanoids or humanids had shifted more towards monogamy. Our lineage never evolved to be strictly monogamous. But even in polygamous relationships, individual men and women form long-term bonds. A far cry from the arrangement in chimpanzees. While the two studies published disagree about the force driving the evolution of monogamy, they do agree on something important. Once monogamy has evolved, then male care is far more likely. Once a monogamous primate father starts to stick around, he has the opportunity to raise the odds that his offspring will survive. He can carry them, groom their fur, and protect them from attacks. In our own lineage, however, fathers went further. They had evolved the ability to hunt and scavenge meat, and they were supplying some of that to their children. They may have gone beyond what is normal for monogamous primates, said Dr. Opie. The extra supply of protein and calories that human children started to receive is widely considered a watershed moment in our evolution. It could explain why we have brains far bigger than other mammals. Brains are actually hungry organs, demanding 20 times more calories than a similar piece of muscle. Only with a steady supply of energy-rich meat were we able to evolve big brains and all the mental capacities that come with it. Because of monogamy, this could be how humans were able to push through a ceiling in terms of brain size. But did they lose that natural tendency to be non-monogamous? Maybe that was continued in another piece of literature. Guess what? I didn't find that other piece of literature. So, for the moment, we are left with what we have right now. We're left with some information that many of us, one, never considered, or two, never knew at all. They considered it, but they never really knew. And, there are some that really don't care because this is how they believe they were made and this is how they believe things are supposed to be. But let me ask, do you believe that this is how things are supposed to be based on your natural tendencies or based on what you were taught? And whether it is something that you were taught by your family or taught by society on a whole through cultural expression. Something that you were taught. That no, you'd have to be honest with yourself to answer that question. And I'm not saying that being non-monogamous is right and monogamy is wrong, or vice versa. Being monogamous is right and non-monogamy is wrong. I'm not saying that at all. I'm asking, do you understand where it comes from? Do you know where and why we are the way we are and we act the way we do in our society? How about the thought that if we were actually more loving, then there'd be less war? How about that for a concept? And I know there are some that are saying, Stu, there's nothing novel about that. Okay. Then why aren't we living that? And when I say living it, I mean across the board. Why is it that we can say we love our quote unquote partner, but that is where it stops? So you're telling me then that your feelings turn off? Yes, you are with this individual. You no longer have any kind of feelings for anybody else? I find that hard to believe. When that happens, though, do you go off into a corner and punish yourself? Or do you recognize it and go to your partner and say, hey, you know what? I have this friend and it seems like I have developed stronger feelings than just the regular feelings. How's that for a concept? Ooh. What is Stu trying to do? I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just saying, have you considered doing that instead of punishing yourself? How about that being a normal thing to do? Do you have those kind of discussions? Those who are in monogamous relationships, whether it be for 1 year or for 15 years, have you had those kind of conversations with your partner? Now, the moment, be careful before you answer that question, whether you're answering it out loud to someone that you're listening with or you're answering it to yourself. Understand that answering that question in the affirmative, that you have had those kind of feelings or you have had that kind of discussion, you are saying that you have had a polyamorous situation. You have had a polyamorous experience. And no one taught you that. Which means that it was natural for you to have that experience. And being polyamorous doesn't mean you're having sex with many people. The poly being many and the amorous from amor or amore, whichever way you want to say it. Multiple loves. Love for more than one. You get it? The sex may or may not be a part of it. But if you developed any kind of feelings for someone other than your partner, whether it be just a little bit or a lot, then you're displaying a polyamorous trait. Is that an evil thing to do? Is that an unnatural thing to do? That is what we're talking about when I look at the question of monogamy. And is it a social construct or is it natural? How do you relate to people in your life? if you're in a traditional relationship, do you have these kinds of discussions with your partner? Can you have these kinds of discussions with your partner? If you have had those kinds of discussions, is it one where you're both sitting trying to understand what is going on? Or is it a case where one is telling of their experience and the other is chastising? How does it go? These are some of the discussions that we really need to have in our relationships. Maybe then we can stop possessing each other, and when someone develops feelings for another person, decide that you're going to kill them and then kill yourself. Yeah. Because I believe this whole possessing of a partner is where the whole murder-suicide thing comes from. You are my girl, you are my man. And it's most of the men that are doing it. So I'll say it, you are my woman, nobody else is to be interested in you. And if I find that you're talking to somebody else, I am going to end your life. Listen, if you're one of those individuals that feel that you're going to, if you can't have them, then nobody else can have them, and you're going to remove them from the face of this earth, do this. Take your life first, and then take theirs. Think about doing that. I'm not endorsing committing suicide or anything, but if you're going to consider murder and then kill yourself, I suggest you do it the other way around. I'm just saying. But that's just me. Another person might see it another way. Preferably, I wouldn't want anyone to end a life prematurely. An accident, cool. We get it. It's an accident. You've done your time. You've fulfilled your purpose. Now it's time for you to go. And it may not be a pretty way to go, but it's time for you to go. When you decide that you're going to take somebody's life just because your feelings are hurt, well, maybe you need to ask the question, why are your feelings hurt? Oh, so you're jealous? What is your shortcoming why you feel that you must be jealous? Oh, I don't have shortcomings. Well, then you shouldn't be jealous. It's love. Live with it. Learn about it. Understand it. And then talk.
Love cannot be a game that has no conclusion. Love is not just a dream that's built on illusion. It's more than something to feel. You can taste it and touch it, it's real. Love is when two people make it, and nothing outside they can break it. If they understand that they can't command love to be where it cannot be free. Love is not just one night of moment of fire. It's a more than hunger inside. that builds on desire. And it can't be bound by a chain. And it be sharing our love forever. Love is a season forever. When two people blended together. But it cannot go. Let's both of them know. They must give if their love is too late.
This is the son of G. Cole.
And this is the
track is called What Love Is.
That we know when we share. Girl, this is the kind of love that will always be there.
You can catch G. Cole and Homegrown with G. Cole. Look him up on social media. He does an excellent show.
Understand that they can command love to be where it cannot be free. I said love to be.
I want to say thanks to GMAT Music Solutions for sponsoring this segment of the show. It's called our musical therapy segment. GMAT Music Solutions, they bring your event to life. They provide sound, light and stage production services, musicians, singers, DJs, audio engineers, PA systems, musical equipment, and so much more. Give them a call. 754-307-GMAC. Tell them you heard about them on the night shift with DJ Kevin Stew. This is Xavier Ward working out with Skip Marley. Track called All I Am. This is the man G-Mac himself. Things you say you love.
Things you say you love. You're gonna can't last too long. The way you are flirting can't last too long. The things you are doing. That's why I say blue. You're gonna things you say you love. You're gonna you can't last too long. The way you are flirting, you can't last too long. The things you are doing, that's why I say lose. You're gonna lose. Things you say you love. You're gonna
Girl, you got the moves, you got the juice, you got the flavor, got the sauce on, yeah. Anywhere you wanna go, say the word and you know I'ma take you there. Oh yeah, 'cause you need somebody to remind you. If you feel lost, I'll find you. Oh, I just wanna make you mine. So waste no time. Change your life. You and I will chase the skies and no limit. If you want to, you can be my queen and I will be your king forever. If you want to, you can be my queen and I will be your king forever.
This is the sound of King Charles. Track is called Juice.
You got the moves, you got the juice, you got the flavor, got the sauce on, yeah. Anywhere you wanna go, just say the word and you know I'ma take you there. Oh yeah, 'cause you need somebody to remind you. If you feel lost, I'll find you. Oh, I just wanna make you mine. So if you want to, you can be my queen and I will be your king forever. If you want to, you can be my queen and I will be your king forever. Waste no time. Change your life.
This is Yishka. His rendition of How Could I Live?
How could I live? How could I possibly go on if you should say goodbye? Just like a rose, if you don't water it every morning, it withers and it dies. Say you'll never leave me, say you won't deceive me, promise me you'll never make me lose. 'Cause if you ever hurt me, if you should
desert me. Baby, I don't know just what I do. I don't know. I don't know what I do. I don't know. I don't know just what I do. How could I live without your love? Tell me. How could I possibly live without your love? I wanna do that to me one more time. Once is never enough with a man like you. Do that to me one more time. I can never get enough with a man like you.
This is Joanna Marie, and it's all about DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift. You feel for some stew? Check out Kevin Stew.
Thank you, Joanna Marie. This is Joanna Marie doing it to you one more time.
Do that to me one more time. Once is never enough with a man like you. Do that to me one more time. I can never get enough with a man like you. Kiss me like you just did. Oh baby, do that to me once again. Pass up on me one more time. Once is never enough for my heart to hear. Say it to me one more time. I can never get enough with a man like you. Squeeze me like you just did. Baby, do that to me once again. Say those words again, like you just did. Oh baby, do that to me once again. Do that to me one more time. Once is never enough with a man like you. Say it to me one more time. I can never get enough with a man like you. So keep just think about those times. But if you're passing my way, please don't stop just to say hi. Cause once again it may start out with just one try.
This is Ed Robinson.
And I felt the joy we shared.
It's called Once Again.
Once again, you and I once before was there. Once again, I felt the love we've made. Once again, we'll be falling in love.
From the album of the same name.
After all the things we both have planned, we both stand there and let them slip right through our hands. And now too scared to make just one more try. Still trying to find the reasons for goodbye. Once again I felt the joy we shared.
falling in love. Oh Lord, just one more try.
12 minutes to the top of the hour. 12 minutes before I get out of here for the remainder of this week. I want to say thank you to each and everyone for tuning in. Thank you for your participation throughout this week. We're not done yet, so I'm not giving my final words just yet. But I just want to say thanks.
It's a good day. Ain't nothing gonna stop my stride or broke my vibe. All of that can go to hell. I already made up my mind that I'm living my best.
This is the sound of Korik.
Every day I'm
As we say, you know what? I'm grateful.
Every day above ground is a good day. Instead of fight and quarrel and complain, give thanks and praise is what you should say. Cause every day above ground is a good day. And every day above ground is a good day. Instead of fight and quarrel and complain, give thanks and praise is what you should say. Cause every day above ground is a good day. Blessings step on me everywhere I go. Just shining sunlight through my window. Him say give thanks for life today, because no one knows tomorrow. So I give thanks, no time for stressing. Every breath I breathe is a blessing. Respect to you, Jah. I'm confessing you're on things. I'm not guessing, cause every day above ground is a good day. Instead of fight and quarrel and complain, give thanks and praise is what you should say. Cause every day above ground is a good day. And every day above ground is a good day. Instead of fight and quarrel and complain, give thanks and praise is what you should say. Cause every day above ground is a good day. Got no time to be hateful. There's so much to be grateful for. You might never have your plate full, but from your living and breathing, stay cheerful and give thanks and learn this lesson. Every breath we breathe is a blessing. Respect to you, Jah. I'm confessing you're on things. I'm not guessing, cause every day above ground is a good day. Instead of fight and quarrel and complain, give thanks and praise is what you should say. Cause every day above ground is a good day. And every day above ground is a good day. Instead of fight and quarrel and complain, give thanks and praise is what you should say. Cause every day above ground is a good day. I already made up my mind that I'm living my best life.
My type. Baby, I've been looking all over the world for someone to come in and tell me, baby girl, it's you. I know.
This is a young lady that hails out of Texas. Her name is Alexis Chopper.
Baby, don't waste my time, cause tonight I'm gonna make you mine.
It's called Make You Mine.
I'll be coming for you when the sun goes down. Baby, don't waste my time, cause tonight I'm gonna make you mine. 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 I can close my eyes and make a single wish tonight. Oh, baby, you can be my sunshine, my sparkle, my flame, my light. Are you vibing what I feel tonight? Got a fire burning inside. We can be so fascinating and act the magic, baby. I'm never stopping now. I'll be coming for you when the sun goes down. Baby, don't waste my time, cause tonight I'm gonna make you mine. I'm never stopping now. I'll be coming for you when the sun goes down. Baby, don't waste my time, cause tonight I'm gonna make you mine. I'm gonna make you mine. I'm gonna make you
On my wall, energy. I don't share my feelings off. Feel I'm riding in
This is Deville. A track called Kryptonite. This is Enzo. Track called Come Over.
'Cause I love you the same way, and I love you so much. I don't care what people say, it's complicated, 'cause you got your man, girl. I just know that I want you, same way you want me. Baby girl, come over, wanna be your lover. Got some things to show you, got some things to show you. Wanna give you pleasure, searching for your treasure. I could be you, I could be you, everything you want. I could be you,
I want to say thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in. Thank you for participating. I encourage you to look out for members of your community tonight and moving forward.
give you all everything.
And your community is not just development that you live in, but it spreads far and wide. So those that you pass on the bus, on the plane, on the boat, on the train, these are members of your community. Do something good for one of them today, because you never know who's going to do something good for you tomorrow. My name is DJ Kevin Stew, so I like to do it to you, for you, and with you every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, 10 to midnight, right here on kevinstew.com. As always, I do encourage you to be good. But if you can't be good at it. All you gotta do is, yeah, just come on over.
Got some things to show you, got some things to show you. Wanna give you pleasure, searching for your treasure. I could be you, I could be you.
I got one more track for you, and it is a track from the new South Florida sensation, Sensational Dynamic Sound, and that is what I'm gonna leave you with tonight as I bounce on out of here. Track called A Woman in Love. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world from here in South Florida. Good night.
It's the same old story. You care but you don't love me. And I know it's
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulsemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.